moms. For the ones up here, how many of these are the first to go to college? Raise hand, please. How many are the first? I'm talking about the moms and dads. You can put your hands down. Moms and dads, how many of these are the first of your kids to go to college? Raise your hands if they're the first. I remember the day well, weeping, 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 and more weeping on the car ride home. How many of these are here, the last of your family to go to college? Any of the last? I remember the same kind of weeping. That was a more joyful weeping. Thank God. We'll actually be able to have food in the house again. Pat, this is the largest contingent of future teachers that this organization has ever amassed to start their journey in its 26-year history. And it was all because of you and your husband's gift and guidance and your curiosity and your generosity. May God bless you every moment of your life. And so, scholars in front, you may say to yourself, what kind of cult have I gone into here? Everyone seems to be so blessed happy to be together. It is a thing, this thing. All of a sudden I'm sounding Italian. There's a thing we got to hear. I don't know. I'm going to try to explain it to you now. It's in the classic apprentice mode, where people allegedly who know what they're doing take young people who want to do the same thing and say, I'm going to show you how I do this, and you're in the process of putting it together yourself. And like your choice of clothes and your musical tastes, you listen, you look, you borrow, you steal, you put together, and you'll become the teacher that you wish to be. It's a very individualized act. It's a very individualized art, and one that is given so much crap out there as being part of the problem. When you hear, brave young men and women that you are, we're here to tell you that you are the beginning of the part of the solution to that which is education's ills. What kind of teacher are you going to be? Now, it's pretty logical to assume that there's been a person in your life who's been at the big desk that has had some kind of impact on you. Said something, did something, gave you a break, a favor, an understanding, a consideration, a kindness. Somehow that has, in part, propelled you to want to try to continue on. All of us teachers have these stories in our pocket. And I've been doing this for, God bless us, 38 years in education. Some of you, it's been more than twice your time on the planet. And I had hair back then, too. All right, stop whining about your hair. Jimmy Movag was a student in my class senior year. He was a weird kid who liked to twist himself up into pretzel shapes while, I was doing class. And he would do this thing with his arm that it would distract me. Jimmy, what are you doing? He carried a violin case. He was a musician, endlessly tormented by his students. And I figured that about all that I could do for Jimmy at the time was to just make sure that an hour each day in my class, no one messed with him. And so my classroom was a Jimmy-free zone. No one messed with Jimmy during my hour with him. In his journal, he would write about the kids who would throw spitballs at him and knock his instrument out of his hand, and he would refer to them always with the same word. He just called them the wildebeests, and would write, "Oh, the wildebeests were pretty awful today, Mr. B." But in my classroom, everything was cool. We were talking one day about, things we want to do in life, and Jimmy says that he was thinking about being a doctor. Hooting and hollering coming from my kids. And all right, stop it, you farts. Jim, you want to be a doctor? Yeah. Would you allow me to treat you, Mr. B? A half-handed comment. Of course, Jim. Of course I would let you treat me. other people hooting and hollering. And then you just go off on your day. You go off on your year. You go off on your life. You go off on your career. You got other things to do, other classes to teach, other kids to take care of. And like they say, one day a letter comes to me. One sentence letter. Mr. B, thanks for keeping the wildebeest at bay. At the bottom it was Dr. James Movag, Chief of Surgery, Nebraska Heart Hospital. Now, I can't say that anything I did in my hours with Jimmy propelled him to that moment, but it was my choice of that moment with him that in some way contributed to his sense that there was a tomorrow possible, which is really what your students to be will hope. Kind of like what you hoped with the teachers that you had. I'm positive that you did not go up to your teachers or you sat in front of them, and I'm positive that you did not say to them, "Oh, teacher, please help me to be proficient at timed multiple choice, high stakes testing circumstances. Oh, teacher, please help to zoom up my grade point average." Though I did have those students who like to have the calculator and their grade point. Were you one of those, were you? Got the test, oh my God, I got a C, my grade point average. Oh no, wait. I had one of those kids once, I made him stare at a leaf for an hour. Here, stare at a leaf. But why? It will help your GPA. Oh, okay. No. What your students will say, they may not actually say it, but what they'll say in their way of saying is, maybe you will get me. Maybe you'll be the one that I can trust, count on. Maybe you'll be the one who'll see me, like me, recognize me. So what kind of moment will you have? Maybe it will be with the athlete who you convince, better work on your books because there aren't as many people in pro basketball as there are in the general population. Maybe it will be with the gal so wrapped up in trying to keep things straight that the eating disorder is taking over. And you could tell her, it's going to be okay. And you're going to help find a way. Maybe it's the young lad who reeks up all the courage he could have and say, in essence, do you like me even though I think I'm gay? In the universities of wherever, they're going to give you a great education based upon the theoretical. And then you're going to go out into the real world in front of real live children and discover the gulf that exists between what you learned in the classroom and who's in front of you. And that's where we come in. Jim and Carolyn and all the people of Golden Apple are there to help give you in the summers the world of the practical, the what do you do when? What do you do when a student walks around the classroom and just won't sit down? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You can't throw spitballs at him. You can't go put him in the principal's office. What do you do? Like baseball, 150 billion circumstances of the classroom are sometimes discussed. There won't be an all that you'll experience, but enough that you hang around us enough, you will find what principals have found and department chairmen have found and senators in the state legislature have found. These scholars are something else. They have an ability. They have an affinity. Can we get more of them? And that's the point that Jim referenced. When we were able to, during a time when Illinois is in, shall you say, fiscal challenge, wouldn't you say that? In the time when this state has problems that seem to be insurmountable, all of them, senators and representatives, voted to increase the budget of this organization from $5.6 to $7.2 million a year. so that we could find nice people like you. 40 more than we got last year here. And we're hoping to try to add 30 more next year. We're on a roll. We're trying to change the way things happen in Illinois classrooms, starting with you and those children that will come up in front of you that will sit there and say, maybe you're the one who will get me. You heard Bob echo that it would be nice if you graduated college, you know? Our effort is very nice, and legislators nod and point appreciably and say an 87%, it is 83 in your books, but it's really 87%, we redid the math. Graduate college and enter the profession. Terrific. What's 13% of 175? It's 23. So if that holds true, 23 of you people sitting right here aren't going to make it. And all you got to say to yourself is, it's not me. It might be this ill-smelling person sitting next to me, but it's not me. The camaraderie that this organization gathers is what keeps you bonded to each other, to the mission, and to the idea of becoming a teacher. When your boyfriend breaks up with you and you call crying to Mama C in the middle of the night, Mama C, he broke my heart. Mama C will just tell you, oh, that man be trash anyway. A better one's around the corner. It's like buses. They just come. You just stay in one place. When you have an academic difficulty, we have people who come and help you out of that process. Because if things hold out, given the structure of how you kind of gravitate toward elementary and high school, you 175, at the end of your 5-year stint with us, which is all we ask, but you'll do much more, if you follow our mission, you teach for 5 years, there would be in this room 65,000 young people who would have had a better moment because a well-prepared teacher was in front of him or her saying, they're there, and this is the way. So all of this love and all of this arduous work, all of this work that we do for you is really for those 65,000 who deserve to have a teacher of quality in front of them, just like you once did. And so to that end, we hope for nothing but the best, and we work tirelessly. Jim Sorensen, they don't make men like Jim Sorensen anymore. The mold has been retired, has been broken. It's sealed in a vault in a ship that is somewhere lost at sea. The man who will remember your name. I'm pretty good at names, but in my age, I see you in the summer, and then I will forget as I drive home that evening. Jim will remember your name, go to your wedding, help burp your baby, will do your shopping. These are the kind of people, Mom and Dad, that you could trust with your babies, and we make it our utmost mission to make sure that your children are safe in our lives, even though we have an arduous mission planned for them, to be the next generation of hope and promise to deserving children who, if they don't get a quality teacher in their lives, they will find themselves with lesser lives. They will find themselves prone to the juvenile justice system. They will find themselves prone to dropping out. They'll find themselves prone to the negative influences of the world out there. Our work saves lives. I know it, for I have done it. And I want to teach you how it's done, as does everyone else who works for us, so that one day you'll get a letter from someone that you barely remember from years ago that says, in essence, I walk a little lighter, happier, or more positively because you took the time to notice I was worth something, as we are taking the time to notice the worth in you. We'll see you in the summer. God bless you.